What I absolutely love about, talking about diversity, equity, inclusion, all of this is that I learned, whether it be through the podcast or Joe, or, WNet, when we, do the D&I events and education, and like your panel just now, you learned so much about just people's perspectives and what companies are doing, and being able to share ideas, and just hearing how organizations think through different things. And so it is it's like I just can't get enough of it, and so it's been just we've done so much with like the D&I podcast and all of that. And WNet was a sponsor of that as well. But anyway, it's just been great. But I just started here with just a very brief definition of company culture, and it being around attitudes, ideas, customs, and behaviors that really make up the company and its employees, and just how make or break the culture can be for the organization. And just hop in if you have any thoughts or anything on this.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was going to hop in because I completely agree with that DEI is so rooted in the culture and the values, and that it has to be part of the I think Melanie said it really well. It's got to be part of the fabric of the company, because it is everything. It's everything like you said, customs, behaviors, attitudes. So it just is like it is what it is.
Yeah, right. Hello, Melissa. Well, we lost Melissa. I was trying to say hello to her. So just kind of continuing, hitting on some of the high points, but just as Melanie was saying that, it has to be part of the organization's DNA, and just woven into the fabric. And it doesn't happen overnight. And, organizations are hello, Gail. Gail, hi. If you can hear me, just do the little smiley or something. Anyway, so we were just hitting on a few points since it was only just a couple of us here, but, absolutely we talked about the leaders are setting the tone, and they have to believe it to, believe it in their heart and mind, and show it, and show that it's core to the business in order for that to really be seen across, really every aspect of the organization. And someone said it, I don't know if it was you, but, it can't look or feel like a program. It can't be something that is just, we're going to do this, D&I program, because employees, and, I've seen it happen in some of the companies that I've been in, it's felt very much like a program from time to time, and not that it's been really integrated into the organization. Gail, I'm just hitting on some high points here. Tell me if you want the mic or anything to make any comments. Not only is it just critical, we talked a little bit about this too, critical for the employees is critical for the business. And, we know it's the right thing to do, but it makes the organization stronger. It makes the whole employee workforce stronger. And it's, just great for the work environment, and it leads to stronger satisfaction and engagement. But not only that, but it also just leads to better performance. And so, as I loved hearing, I think Melanie was talking about, they're even looking at this from a supplier and, a vendor and partner standpoint to make sure that there's diverse representation. And I think that that diversity representing the business and the clients that you serve is absolutely critical. Oh, hello, Melissa. I see that you joined back. Welcome. And so, I was thinking about when putting this together, what do employees need? They want to know that they can bring their entire person to work, their whole self to work. They want to know that they belong. They want to know they can be real and authentic, and that they are going to belong, that they're going to be supported, and that they're going to be able to thrive in that environment. And so I would just pause here and see, what do you think about this, or if there are any other comments as to what else that employees from their standpoint need. And one of the questions I was going to ask, and maybe we could talk about it here as well, is that we just didn't get around to asking the question in the panel, is every employee plays such a significant role in helping to establish and cultivate and sustain the culture in an organization. It's not just leadership. Leadership, of course, sets the tone, but every person plays a role in all of this in the organization. So, anyone have any comments? I can. Give you the mic, Kim?
I think it's hard to have the mic. I don't know if anyone else can have the mic. But anyway, one of the things that I thought was really interesting and this slide brings to life is the earlier conversation. I don't know if you were on it, Polly, or not, when it was Joe Corella.
Yeah.
The first, I really loved what he said. It's about belonging, right? So you have in there to belong, but it's also about being unique, and you have the authentic. So I think that's one of the things that's really important, is that people feel belonging, but they feel part of it, but they also can bring their unique gifts and be who they are. So creating that is easier said than done, but I think it definitely starts with the values and creating the right environment.
Absolutely. Melissa, if you have any comments, just put them in, or I can give you the mic.
Give Melissa the mic.
Okay, well, this is kind of a lot here on this slide, but what must company and leaders do? We talked about so many of these, but I'll just hit on a couple of them, just around consistently evaluating how the company is doing related to DEI initiatives. And so, and really, not even thinking about initiatives in terms of like program, but just how they're doing related to that in the organization. And encouraging employees to, just be themselves, be authentic, come in just the way they are, and connecting with employees often on, hearing how they're doing, what feedback do they have, letting them know that you're listening and that you want to hear how they are feeling. And then if you get feedback on that, I think it is so critical for the organization to act swiftly on it, because people pay attention to that. If you raise an issue and nothing happens for, till the next round of employee engagement surveys, and then you might put a committee together or something, which we've kind of all seen that happen in companies, right? It is absolutely something that employees notice. And so and you can't do everything overnight, but letting the employees know that you are that you're really being mindful of that and taking into account their feedback. And then evaluating how the company is doing with diverse representation. And I think that was it Matt from Discover? He was talking, a good bit about this too, and just they have had some goals that they were setting with the North Star plan that they had, but looking at all levels, and I don't even think about it just at all levels. Of course, you've got the board and the C-suite and the executives, and collectively the numbers might look good, but you have to also look across all the functions. How are the functions represented? Is there a good representation across all functions? And if there's not, then it should be something that is part of the roadmap to help correct that. And just kind of thinking about the D&I, people initiatives and business strategies, and really incorporating it into everything from recruiting practices to the internal mobility. We talked about a lot of these around best practices, performance management, pay equity, and rewards, awards, and recognition, and even like vendor representation. And I think that was more of like what Melanie was talking about. Anything else big that you think here that might not be specifically called out here on this page? Good. All right, I'll keep going. I don't have much. Yes, what, Kim?
The only thing I would add is just around intentional development, because everything else is on there, but I think if you're more intentional about developing some of the diverse or the underrepresented groups, the comment is like, you measure what you get. If the effort you put in, you're going to get effort out of it if you put it in. So I think that's awesome.
Absolutely. These are just, a little bit more specific about what some companies are doing. It's amazing over the last, 6 months or so, or, 6 to 8 months, how many D&I roles, if you just pay attention to companies that are hiring. I mean, it seems like everybody was hiring. If they didn't already have a D&I leader, it became the thing that they were doing. And so I think that, that is one significant step, to have someone in the organization that is focusing on it and challenging the leaders and the business to make sure that it is ingrained in the business and that it is a priority. But it also has to be just incorporated into the values. One of the things that I have loved seeing on LinkedIn, and some companies are doing this, and so it's more of like marketing, but I think about it kind of from an internal celebration, but also external celebration, is just celebrating diversity, whether it be highlighting people in the organization and their stories and sharing those, or just things that organizations have going on that highlight the work that they're doing around this. I think that it is really great for other people to see that, especially if maybe they're looking to come into the organization. Or if you're recruiting, it shows more of that diversity in the organization and what it looks like. Because if people see people like them, they're going to be far more likely to be interested in the company. And then I'll just kind of jump down a little bit to just continuously auditing and how's the organization stacking up at every stage. And this is like just a small group of communications, programs, recruiting practices, employee engagement, business practices. There's so many other things there, like you said, the leadership programs and all of that, where you're showing that you can support women around networking and mentoring and things like that. Very interesting that there's been more articles lately around just like the bathroom bill and the unisex restrooms. I don't know if you have any perspective on that, but or know of any companies that have moved to that. But I thought that was absolutely a way, and especially after listening to the WNET. The WNET did a kind of voices of LGBTQ a couple of weeks ago, and it was so eye-opening, just the information that some of those men and women shared about, how they're treated, and just, some of the small things that can really hurt them to the core. Like one of the ladies at JP Morgan Chase, she was sharing her story, and she's like, when I go into the bathroom and someone's like, "You're in the wrong bathroom," she said it just like hurts her to the core, that has, that someone has said that, because it's like, you're out of place, you don't belong here, you're, why are you here? And so, but it's something like that is something that I hadn't thought about before. And so, I don't know, it was just really interesting to hear her talk about it, and how, how it makes her feel.